Hello, and thank you for calling the Higher Self Hotline, your direct line to the divine. You've been led here by your inner knowing, and you've arrived right on cue. I'm your host, Zoe Greco, and together we'll make the ethereal earthly, helping you consciously embody your spiritual knowing and most authentic self. Please listen carefully to the following options. To discover how to fulfill your soul's purpose, press 1. To unlock infinite abundance in life, love, and career, press 2. To heal your mind, body, and spirit, press 3. To speak with your personal spirit guides, press 0. Please hold while we connect you to your highest timeline. Hello, Divine Darlings, and welcome back to the Higher Self Hotline. I'm your host, Zoe Greco. Thank you so much for joining me today. And boy, oh boy, do we have an episode for you. I am bringing you one of the foremost front and center figures in all things wellness and astrology. Someone that I have admired for quite some time and cannot believe I have the honor of bringing forward for you today. If you don't already know her, it would utterly shock me. But today we are joined by the one, the only Madi Murphy. Maddie, for those who don't know, is an intuitive astrologer, empowerment mentor, and the founder of Cosmic RX, a spiritual wellness brand helping thousands of people align with their cosmic purpose and unapologetically own their magic. As the host of Cosmic RX Radio, Maddie offers weekly doses of spiritual self-care, astro insights, and unapologetic pep talks, making healing feel approachable, inclusive, and even fun. And as an author, she continues this mission in her upcoming book, In the Cosmic Zone, a practical magical guide to awakening your inner wisdom and rewriting your story from the stars down. Whether she's decoding birth charts, leading workshops, or dropping truth bombs on her podcast, Cosmic RX Radio, Maddie is here to help you reclaim your power and live life on your own damn terms. Maddie, thanks for being here. Welcome to the show.
Oh, Zoe, I love that hype. You are so sweet. Your energy, you're like a twinkly fairy. I was like, I'm just getting like a sound healing, just hearing you like talk over me. This is so beautiful. But thank you for having me on. This is a treat.
Absolutely. You know, I just interviewed Alexis Smart for the show last week, who I love, and she also called me a fairy. And so I'm like, I think my vibe is like emitting something new. So I'm 100% here for it. But this isn't about me, Maddie. This is about you. So what I would love to do, like, I know we have a lot of amazing things to talk about today. We're going to talk about Cosmic RX. We're going to talk about your podcast. We're going to talk about your book. But before we get into all of the medicine that you bring to the world, the magic that you infuse into life, I would love if we could start at the beginning. How did we land here in this particular iteration of your calling?
Such a non-linear journey. Whenever I try to think about it in like a quick little thing, I'm like, it's been very mythical, very messy, very miraculous, very twisty turny. But I guess, like a lot of people listening, I'm sure can relate to this. I feel like I just had that thing, that spark, that knowing in me when I was born. It's like, yes, like magic is real. Like I feel it. I love it. I'm connected to it, to nature, to beings, like talking to having all kinds of probably experiences that like spooked out my parents, being like, I'm talking to this person and the rock is telling me this and this, that, and like, just like so free and playful with it. And then for all the reasons you might expect, all that kind of starts like shutting down for various reasons. Too many things to get into here, but the usual suspects you'd expect, right? Societal pressure, trying to fit in, going to school, going to college, being like, okay, I have to get a job. I'm like this like mermaid, unicorn, amoeba, like don't understand like how to be a human. Now I'm like, I'm trying to adult. And I feel like it's probably time to get serious. And just a lot of things I felt unsafe in my intuition, feeling so open. But luckily I did have, and I mentioned her, a very magical, as everyone should have, a magical witchy aunt who's also very elegant, very worldly, very just very cool. And she always gave me a mirror of like the magical world, the astrological, the etheric, the numinous realm in a way that's really grounded and embodied. So I had her as a touch point to come back to often. But like so many things, you do something as a child, and then maybe you can kind of know things in your mind, like, okay, that is cool. I should, look into my astrology more. I should do this, or I should meditate, or I should. And I just like, all that became very quiet as I kind of felt that external pressure to fit in, to become a human, to go through the life path. And while I did that, it was like my light just felt like it was slowly being turned down. And then leading into my Saturn return, without me knowing it, in my late 20s, set to be married to a man, spoiler alert, that I'm not married to now, in a career I didn't like, and just feeling like all of a sudden I had like, even though I consider myself spiritual my whole life, it was in my back seat. I was like, get in the back, get in the trunk, like that spiritual side of me. And it was truly like everything. The car broke down. We know where this metaphor is going, but my spiritual self was like, hey, we got to take over the wheel here. And that happened through a dark night of the soul, breakdown, body broke down. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I was having hives, and I just started hearing voices coming through so clearly and seeing so many signs and having such a connection with the spiritual world that I was like, am I having a psychotic break? Like, am I in a psychosis? Like that level of what is real, what isn't. But I also knew, I was like, no, I know. Like, you're kind of no, you're like, well, this is because you've been trying to outrun yourself and hide yourself and fit into some normal standard, whatever that means. And it was like trying to fit in for all my 20s led to a breakdown, to a breakthrough. I called off that wedding. I, shifted everything in my life and basically blew up a bomb in my life. Yeah. But I also, in that experience, woke up. It was the first taste of true freedom, true coming back to your authentic self. Even though on paper, life was a mess, right? I was like, could not be worse, could not be more on paper, everybody be like, ooh, that girl, she's not doing well. But
somebody check on her.
Somebody wellness check on that girl. But I was like, oh my God, I can hear the birds chirping again. I could eat again. I could sleep again. I was like, oh, I'm connected back in. And from that point forward, I was like, I am on a mission to now be so unapologetically with myself. What does that mean? Who am I? Where am I going from here? Because now I've made this big signal to everyone in this my whole sphere of life that I won't settle for something inauthentic. So now I can't go back to the half-ass job. I can't go back to the half-ass friends. I can't go back to the mask. It was I blew it into a million pieces. And I was broke. I was so confused. And I was like, what do I do? And of course, on the path, quite literally, someone's just here, read this book out of nowhere. And it was, it was a really random, Doreen Virtue book. It's just a whole other story, but it just brought me
I could talk about her for days.
That's a pin. So many times I'm pinned in that journey.
We'll come back to that.
But I was oh my God, it's that reading. And it wasn't so much as reading, but it was that remembering, right? I was oh yeah, this is me. And then just the next yes kept appearing and really led me to going down the full mystical rabbit hole, metaphysical realm. And I was oh yeah, this is where I'm meant to be. This is my language. This helps me understand so much more about myself, the world, my place in it. And then I was okay, cool. That was my big breakdown, right? The Saturn return, calling off the wedding. I was oh no, sweetie, that was just the beginning of many rebirths and transformations. But it led me, I started my own business and I went through many mythical journeys with that. But it made me realize my favorite thing in the world to do is really help people understand you are born on this planet with purpose, on purpose. And you have such a magic and a medicine to share with the world and definitely to bring it out in the world. But that process of bringing it out also wants to bring out something really important in you. And that we can also have some fun with it, dare I say. So that's the long of it, the backstory. And as you can imagine, many segues within there. But the long and the short of it is I was like, girl, wake up. Like you, my higher self quite literally was like, nudge, nudge, knock, knock. And then it was just like battering ram, locomotive. It was like, girl, what are you doing?
Totally. Oh, there are so many beautiful, juicy nuggets in that I feel so called to pull out. So the first thing that really struck me, and you said it was an ant, right? That was this kind of magical mirror in your life. As you were talking about her and describing her, I was like, man, that's truly what you've become for so many. Like people, when you embody the light within you, the power within you, the purposefulness within you, you create a whole new reality that other people can then witness, that allows them to expand their minds, that they then can access. And so I love that she existed in your world to be this mirror, but like that is a gift that clearly she bequeathed to you that you are then giving to us. And so I just felt like that was really worth highlighting. The other thing that I think is so important to talk about is the fact that you have successfully done this thing that every person I know wants to do. Every client I serve, every person I connect with professionally wants to do, which is bury their old life, like totally like relinquish their false self and claim truth. And I want to pause on this for a moment because you've told this story a lot, I'm sure, like you go on the shows, you're like, I get it completely.
Yeah.
But for people that are hearing it, I want you to hear yourself in Maddie.
Yeah.
I want you to hear yourself in her, because I know this story. And and frankly, in my own way, I'm going through it right now, kind of. Like I'm in the, I operated under a pseudonym for years. I was like the Merhipsy. Everyone knew me as like the Merhipsy. Yeah. And I finally am doing just like this undoing process, rebuilding in truth. So like I resonate with it really deeply. And I think it's important to like witness you as an example of when you really commit to it, when you truly step in, when you don't half-ass it, when you blow up your life and go, okay, it's blown up and now I have to do something different. This is what happens. You become Madi Murphy. I mean, no one will be you, but they get to be them, which is even better. But I think it's just so worth saying, like, you are a living example of this, and your story is profound, and it deserves to have a moment of like reflection upon it and go, you know what, babe, you fucking did the thing. And like now you're helping other people do the thing and making it fun and accessible and clear, which actually invokes my next question. But before I ask, I want to just see if there's any reflections you have or anything you want to speak out.
Thank you, for that. You're such a yummy soul. It really is. It's like, again, like we say these things, and you hear it on a podcast, and you're like, yeah. And when you said that, when you stopped me and that, I like almost was immediately transported in time, very quantum. I'm sure people have done this before, like younger self meditations. And I feel like this is a moment that like my younger self was like, that exists somewhere in a timeline. Like pull on that thread, because you're going to be talking to this super chic, cool, elegant, sophisticated, like badass, and she's gonna be mirroring something to you. So like, even though you're crying and you're broke and you're eating ramen and you're like delirious and you're bed rotting and you're anxious, like it's all trust what you're doing, right? And it brought me back there in a way that was like very visceral. Got a little cheered up for a second, and it's so true, and I just want to like honor, because you think, we start to kind of like TED Talkify our life a little bit, like that happened and I did this, and it feels all like neat and tidy. But when I tell you, in the moment, it was like the deepest knowing I've ever felt, like here in like behind my belly button, in my heart, like in the womb, in the heart, and all this, like, yes, I know. But like every other part of me was like, what the F? And everyone looking at me was just looking at me like, what the F? And people I know supported me, were like, we got you, but also like, what the F is going on? So, and there was so many wobbles, and there was so much like physical, like days I couldn't get out of bed because I was like, what is going on? And truly, like some of these practices that we'll talk about and some of this wisdom was the only thing that like got me out of bed. Like, okay, like pull a card. go check this out, go sit in the grass and like journal or like whatever it was. And so I appreciate that. And I just want to like honor and bow to anyone, including yourself, who's on this journey. It's so hard, but it is like the most worth it thing you'll ever do, because from there, it's not easy, but it opens up so much ease.
Hi friends, I have something really exciting to share with you and a very important update, so please listen all the way through this. First, the numerology reading annual sale officially opens November 17th at 6 a.m. Pacific and runs through December 1st. This is my favorite time of the year, the one where I open my calendar for personal numerology readings at a special discounted rate. Each reading comes with a full numerology report for 2026, a detailed day-by-day roadmap that reveals the energy, lessons, and opportunities waiting for you in the year ahead. It's one of my favorite tools for helping you feel grounded, confident, and prepared as you move into a brand new cycle. And I have an important update to share. I've decided to move up the date to close my calendar to individual one-on-one readings. I originally planned to stop sessions in April, as I shared here on the show, but after much deliberating with my higher self, that transition will now happen on December 31st of this year. Starting in 2026, I'll be devoting myself fully to my 9-month mentorship container, with the exception of sessions that are prepaid or pre-booked before December 31st, including any packages purchased but not yet scheduled. So this sale isn't just a chance to save 25% on this service and an additional 10% on already discounted session packages, but it's also one of the last opportunities to book a private reading with me before I step fully into this next chapter. If you've been feeling called to connect and get insight into what 2026 is guiding you toward, this is your moment. You can sign up to be notified and get the booking link as soon as the sale goes live at zoegreco.com/annual sale. I can't wait to explore your chart with you and help you step into the new year with clarity, confidence, and direction. You couldn't have said it any better, like truly just perfect. And I think the reason I really wanted to pause, and I just want to reflect this to you as like a human, is I'm a psychic, right? That's what I do. I could tell who is so for real, you know, like I can tell when someone is for real, and you're so for real. Like I feel your journey, I feel your experience, and maybe because it's smacking with tones of my own, but I know that it will resonate that same way for listeners. And, you know, that thing you talked about where you were like, people really thought I was crazy. Like on paper, I looked bad. Like someone do a wellness check on this bitch. Like I totally understand that. And I want listeners to hear that too, that like people who knew you wearing the mask will think you're crazy. And 100%. You're going to feel crazy because when you look in the mirror, you don't see the mask either anymore. It feels sometimes you feel manic. Sometimes you feel low. Like the highs and the lows are extreme, and
the highs and
it's
lows.
Important. Yes, it's the ride to the top and then the descent down where your belly drops and you're like, oh God, you know, like the ride is so wild. But you said it yourself, like it is so rewarding. And to me, this is really why I see the work that you're doing as so impactful, because you've lived it, so you understand like the importance of it, but also, you know, you talked about coming upon these tools, and again, now you're the mirror giving them back to other people. So I'd really love to talk about Cosmic RX for a second and understand like why you feel that it is so important for people to know the language of their chart, you know, to understand themselves through the lens of astrology, because I think, you know, astrology has become quite like memeified. It's become, you know, I love to see how pervasive it is, but I also can see that it's getting twisted and misunderstood and misused. So for someone to gather the real meat, the tools, like the things that you can truly grow from, can you tell us a little bit about Cosmic RX? Like, what is it? How'd you make it? And why is this your mission?
Okay. First of all, I love that. You're so good at this. They should do this professionally. Okay.
Babe, thanks.
Babe, you're really good at this.
Oh, babe, thanks so much.
Such a pleasure to be like, you're just like driving me, and I feel so relaxed. I'm like, I love where she's taking us right now. Everything's so smooth. This is great. And exactly, like, first of all, I just have to say, like, so publicly, I have to declare my love for astrology. I owe my whole life to astrology. I I'm a Virgo. I'm a Sun Mercury conjunct Virgo. So when I go get interested in something, my husband's like, there she goes. Like also a little like neuro squiggly. So I get hyper fixated. I have gone to like the ends of the earth on so many weird subjects, both like, esoteric, metaphysical, all the healing, the energetic, the self-help stuff. So I love it. I've done it all. I've dabbled in a million things and I've gone pretty deep on like thousands of them. Astrology, I owe my life to astrology. I owe my life to astrology because I think for myself, it really is a bridge between the practical and the magical. It is a bridge for me of the spiritual and the science. There's something black and white in it that I can hold and look at and say, and something that feels a little bit pulled back, like a little bit more objective for me, while in that space I could color in with all of the colors of, my higher self, my guides, my intuition, and it gives me a language and a framework for everything, for myself, for understanding my husband better, how to be a better mother, how to show up for my clients, how to show up for the world, how to understand like why I'm frustrated, this morning because something's not working in technology. I'm like, oh, right. I don't have to internalize all of this as I'm a Pisces moon and I'm very intuitive, very open. And my whole life, I think part of why I went through that numbing in my 20s was because it's just too much energy, too much information, too many ideas, too much processing, too much like, while also being like, why are we here? This thing that everyone's doing, like, this is it? Like, we're going to pay bills and die and like, go, like, I don't know, eat frozen meals and watch Netflix on repeat, like forever. Like what? Like, no, but also having so much, like my brain is like, blah, at once, like, and astrology helped me be like, okay, like this is who you are. This is what's happening around you. What things are shifting. Great. This is what's happening in the larger collective. And this is what's maybe happening, what you're picking up on in Zoe. And this is how you can just kind of ground it all, like, and ground it, but still being really connected to the magical. So astrology is like my boo. The moon is my boss. I work for her. I work for no man, just the moon, because especially her, like befriending her and falling back in love with the moon in myself, in the cosmos, in everyone else has been so game changing. But then there's this thing of like, I'm like, I can't believe me. Like I'm looking at my job. I'm looking at numbers and degrees and squiggly lines and glyphs. And I'm doing math. I'm like, she's not a STEM girly. This is not my zone of genius. I'm a storyteller. I'm a creative. I'm an idea girl. I'm a visionary. And I'm like, how is this? This is so funny. This is where I ended up. But because I see like the storytelling of the soul in the chart, and I see it as like the biggest like hack, organizational system, framework, all the guidebooks, everything you could want. But then I'm like, I'm looking at people, I'm like, no, I get it. Either you're rolling your eyes at astrology, or if you're cosmically curious, you open up your first chart or a reading and you're just like, what? Uranus, trining, what you call it? Like, Mercury's and Gatorade and all this. And you're looking at this thing and you're like, what is this squiggly, goobly gawk? And I'm like, I get it. There's such a barrier to it, right? And there's like a barrier of entry. And so I was like, I want to really help people understand like astrologos, the wisdom, the divine guidance, and I think the love and the ways in which we are so divinely protected, directed, and connected that is mirrored through the study of the planets. Like, oh my God. I'm like, I want to get everyone this information, but it's so confusing. And I kind of barely, like, I'm like, what? So I'm like, how do I break this down? So there's that. And also, I started off with calling Cosmic RX, which is now basically like, I guess we're like a mystical media company because we just produce a lot of cosmic content. And our main mission is to democratize magic, like make magic, cosmic wellness available, accessible to anyone with an open heart and maybe an internet connection, right? Like you don't have to go and spend thousands of dollars. You don't have to go become a shaman or a yoga teacher. You don't have to like pay all this money for courses. Like you don't have to work with me. You could just open up a podcast, an app, Instagram, read our newsletter and be like, okay, this is how I can understand a little bit more of me, what's going on in the world, my place in it. And yes, what I hope is learn how to co-create a little bit of mystical magic mojo for yourself and the world in that process. But the truth is we all need those reminders. Like I have people who come to us and on our newsletter or interact with the podcast who are day one and they're like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm kind of skeptical, but someone told me I should listen. And I have people like who are way more advanced on their track than me who interact with our content, because here's the thing about being a human. Like, this from your work. You do this work, you're a psychic, you help people connect to their higher self. We still need it, right? Like the teachers need the lessons, the healers need the healing. Like I need this. I literally read a newsletter that I wrote the week before. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm so angry. And then I'm like, oh bitch, like last week you wrote like Mars. Oh, right. That's okay. Got it. Like, right. So there's something like the cosmic RX of it all is, it can be so overwhelming to be on this journey of being a human, especially if you're here again and you want to do something that feels purposeful and different and authentic and embodied and your own, and like you want to live in alignment. It feels so big. So we call it Cosmic RX because, my Virgo self, I would get all these readings when I was kind of after my spiral out and my Saturn return, and during it I was like, give me everything, the psychic readings, the Akashic records, give me the everything, the human design. I want the craniosacral. I want like you to read my alien origin story. Like I'm like anyone who would tell me about myself, I was like, I want it, because I was so confused and lost, and some readings were helpful, some weren't. But one of my takeaways is my Pisces moon would listen to everything and be like, got it, I know everything you're saying. Oh, I'm from the 9th dimension. Duh. Got it. Oh, my great grandfather is like coming to tell me to go to shaman school. Like, sure, fine, cool. But then I would like walk away, and my Virgo, my born and raised New Yorker, like you, I was born in, Manhattan. My dad was a taxi driver. My mom's like a real estate agent. My parents are very just like in the world, right? Like spiritual, totally. But like getting shit done. They both work for themselves, have their own businesses. I'm Earth sign New Yorker. I'd walk away from the reading and be like, what am I doing though? Like, okay, that's cool that like I have, Mary Magdalene's working with me and Isis, and I have all these, connected energy. But what does this mean like on a Tuesday? Like when I'm on the subway or my boss is driving me crazy and I don't like, I'm in a freeze state. Like what am I doing? So in my readings and my work, I started being like, I'm going to have a little prescription pad and give people a little like cosmic prescription and just something to anchor into, whether that's a ritual, a practice, a reminder, something like really tangible, actionable, where you can just feel like, again, feeling empowered, feeling embodied in this work. And also that you are going to experience this medicine by doing this in a much different way than I could do by telling you something, right? Because like
totally.
And so the Cosmic RX was born out of that, of being like, here's just a little digestible dose. Like, don't worry. And if people come to me, they're like, how am I gonna save the world and my purpose and find my soulmate? And I want to do this. And I'm like, I get it. I've been there. Like we experience it all at once. But sometimes it's like, for right now, you actually just need to stop doom scrolling for the next week and get back to me.
Be with your feelings.
Sit with your feelings. Can you just put pen to paper? Like, can you just like, put a little salt in a bath and just soak in it and get back to me in the morning, right? Like, just 100%. Like, right? Like, just these little teeny steps that add up to a larger journey. So, that's Cosmic RX is the brand, and that's Cosmic RX as kind of the sentiment behind, and again, trying to make everything so accessible. Okay, Mars is moving into Virgo right now, right? Like we have all this like a new moon is coming up. What does that mean? What am I doing with that? Yeah. Like in the human form that's busy, that has a lot of things going on. This energy is split in a lot of directions. And that's kind of was like my mission or my dream behind what I'm doing now.
I have a million things to say. First of all, my edible is absolutely hitting right now, and I'm obsessed with you. Like, if you had a church, I would come. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I want to see you at the pulpit, babe. Like, I want to see you out there, like, preaching to the people. Like, first of all, I want to mention this too. One of the things that I always do when we have someone coming on the show is no matter how much of a fan of theirs I am, no matter what I think I know about them, one of the things I always make sure I go do is see who they follow. Who do we have in common? And your ethical engagement with spiritual work is so significant and so grounded in truth. Like, and I know that because I feel the same way. Like we follow the same people, a lot of the same people actually. And I was like, I was scrolling and scrolling, cool. And I was like, all right, that's what's up. Like, I see you following like the anti-colonial, like, you know, advocates. I see you who you're following. And like, it's, you know, Susanna Barkataki, like she's been on the show, like, you know, like, we travel in the same circle actually. Right. So it's funny that we're just meeting each other now, but I really feel the integrity of every single thing that you're talking about, which is why I know your work to be true and real. And like the thing that I think is so beautiful about this too is the generosity. Like what I really heard you say was, this saved my life and I knew I had to give it to other people. And that's how you know you're on your shit. That's how you know you're where you belong and where you need to be, because it saved your life. It was the thing you knew you needed to do, and you give it so generously. And the other thing I heard you talk a lot about, which the reason I brought up who you follow, this makes sense. You talked a lot about accessibility. Yeah. And that feels really important. And I'm giving it these very specific terms, you know, I'm like, let's call it accessibility. Let's call it like, you know, ethical engagement. Let's call it these things, because you won't say that yourself because you're a cool bitch, you know, like you're a great person.
Don't talk about it, be about it. Okay.
Exactly. And so I really want to shine that light back and go, hey, Maddie, you're doing this stuff from like the most genuine place. Like you're doing this stuff from the realest, truest part of you. And this really feels like a divine appointment. Like I feel like we're just supposed to be here. And actually, if I may for a second, I want to talk about your numerology, and then I'd love to get into your book.
Yes. First of all, I love you. I don't care. Everyone needs to know. I love you. I don't care who knows it. I'm so excited.
We're in love.
Honestly, like my friend told me, he's like, write a book, not about like write the book, of course, for so many reasons too. He's like, but it's gonna set you off. He's like, you're gonna meet really cool people by doing it. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, yeah. And now I'm like, I get it. Colin, you're so right. And here we are. Okay, carry on.
You know, so when I look at numerology, I like to look at 4 main numbers in your chart. So, and my listeners are like, oh my God, she's doing it for Maddie. Like I could feel it. Like, cause this is a cool thing. And I talk about this a lot. Like, so there's 4 main numbers I look at. I look at your birthday number, which is the day of your birth. So like for you, it's 9 also. So like September 9th. And your birthday number in numerology talks about like the innate gifts that you possess. Like what are you here to give the world? And what tools are in your tool belt to navigate life, you know? Luckily, this is being recorded, so you can listen back to it.
I'm so pumped.
Then your attitude number is the sum of your day and month of birth. And so it's also 9 because you're born on 9/9. So it reduces, we go down to single digits. And your attitude number is how the world perceives you, like how you're experienced by others, and the approach with which you use to move through life. Like how do you navigate life? Kind of like how you do one thing is how you do everything. Your attitude number is how you do everything. And then your life path number, which is what you're here to do, like the path your soul is here to walk in this lifetime. And then I like to look at your personal year just to see like what are the themes of your year, like what's your personal year. And you're super cool and super lucky because you're on the same schedule as the collective. So we're in a collective year 9, you're in a personal year 9, and 9 is the number of endings. It's the number of like letting go of things, like it's a final shedding, but it's also the number of wisdom. It's like if you look at the flow lines of 9, it's like a big giant brain on someone's head. It's about like wisdom, but 9 also is the number of leadership. It's the number of the humanitarian. It's the number of like the spiritual guide and teacher, the person who's here to make the world a better place. And you have 2 9s in your chart primarily. Your gifts and the way that you are perceived and approach things are the same. So like people see you for who you actually are. You show them who you are, which is really cool. And I feel that in talking to you. I'm like, yeah, like this is a real conversation, you know, like this is a real conversation between 2 people. Yeah. And then your life path, bro, this is what blew my mind. And I already knew this when you started telling me things. And I was like, oh my God. So your life path 4, and 4 is the number of order, structure. 4 is the number of the Virgo. It's like, it is, and you're a Virgo. It's like, it is so it's like I bring structure and order to the world so that you can understand it. And that's literally what you talked about with Cosmic RX was like, here's a system. Like here is a little bit of order you can apply to both your high level spiritual journey and, you know, like this very human life that you're experiencing, the day-to-day nuance. And the fact that you touched on all of that so effectively, like just goes to show you really fucking know what you're talking about. Like you really know what you're talking about. So I personally think I'm the real deal. And so when I see the real deal, I feel like it's really important to be like, hey, everyone listening, Maddie is the real deal. Like I don't even need to say it. They can hear it if they're paying attention. But in case anyone can't tell, that's so obvious.
Appreciate that. Like the cosign that like game recognized game, because it's true, right? Like you just know you're like, okay, like, and again, no like shading, we're on different levels of the journey, but you're like, okay, like there's the embodiment, the authenticity, like the alignment. This is just what I'm so passionate about. And I think it is like when you become that, you attract that in other people and you know it so quickly. Yeah. And
when you're around like, it feels good.
It feels good like this right now. Like I'm like, oh my God, like girl, like let's get on a flight. Let's like meet somewhere. We gotta kiki, we gotta hang, we gotta clap. Like let's just get weird. It makes me like giddy. I'm like, this is so fun, right?
Yes.
And this is what I'm like, I tell people like there's serious ass things happening in the world. And that's why I'm like, we gotta empower everyone. Everyone has like a role in this revolution. I need you to turn up your magic. But also I'm like, when you're with your people and you're in your authentic self, like you're actually gonna have an enormous amount of fun. It's actually crazy. Like it just doesn't have to, there are serious things happening, but you don't have to take yourself so seriously. And when you're vibing with someone and there's no airs, there's no mask, and like, you know, I live like in Manhattan, like airs and masks, and it's like, it's either like all there is or nothing there is, depending on what neighborhood and what event you're at on a given day. But I was at an event a few weeks ago and I was just being like this, and someone's like, wow, it's like so refreshing just that you're being so like messy. I was like, yeah, I'm a fucking messy human. Like what? Like you're not messy. Like who out there? Also, like anyone out there right now could tell me they know everything they have going on or how everything's gonna work or everything. Like you're lying. So like it's so fun to sit in a space with someone like you, and there's no airs, there's no like buttoned up or trying to like be something you're not. And that shit is so exhausting. It's so draining, and it's so. It's like fast fashion. It's fast food. It's like I'm just feeling sick. I'm synthetic. Yes. I'm itchy. I'm nauseous. It's just it's not for me. So I appreciate that, and I love the numerology reading. It's such a gift, just to be witnessed. So thank you. Right, like that's why I love the work I get to do. I love that numerology work. There's something that's just so powerful of someone like this who like us just connecting, and you to like just see through all of the quantum layers and levels and distance and life and all the noise, and maybe like, oh, like, wow, that is me. And like, we always need that reminder, right? And it's so beautiful to hear.
Being on the same frequency like that makes it easier to speak the same language. Like I truly believe that like we are speaking a very specific language right now. Like I believe that other people, if they sat in on our conversation, might not understand it. You know what I mean? Like there are people who would not understand. Like my father, for instance. Hi, Dad. I know you're a podcast listener. I love you. You have no fucking idea what we're talking about, man. That's okay. Like you're good just the way you are. You know. Right. But it's a specific language, and like when you meet someone that like speaks the same frequency that you do, it is energizing. It like gives you, and I think that's why it's so important, because you need that energy to pursue your purpose. Like you need the field, you know, and the field is strengthened by people that share your frequency. And that actually brings me to an extremely important question, which is, tell us about In the Cosmic Zone, because you talk about bringing people into this like realm where we can access this magic. And I'm 100% with you. Like I was waiting till then, like my 20s for my Hogwarts letter. Like I was like, when am I getting called into the troops? Like, you know, I was well past graduating age, still thought it might come. Like I believe in magic, you know? Yes. So talk to us about the book and what we can expect to experience by reading it. Like what is it going to support us in walking through?
Okay. Amazing. I love everything. Hi. First of all, hi is always Dad. Okay. So the Cosmic Zone, it's like, again, came up with the Cosmic RX. And then my bigger thing was like, I want to help people because I understood in the astrology that we were about to go through some capital U, capital T, unprecedented times, TM, like buckle up, gird your loins. We are going like somewhere we have never gone before. And I was like, there's a lot changing and everyone, and I'm like my serious Virgo, we all need to understand we have a role, we have to stand up, we have to be in our truth. And so I'm like, gearing up with leaders and artists and creatives to be like, I want you to go out and like your zone of influence and like ripple this out into your community and tell them like it's time to get with the program. And so I'm doing this work all like, I don't know, maybe it's my South Node in Sag, or like I'm getting very like didactic, very dogmatic, very preacher at the pulpit a little bit. And then a funny thing started happening. I was like, oh, with the RXs every day, and then working through the wheel of someone's birth chart, which is what I do with like my mentees and people I work with, especially again, people who want to be like an embodied leader. I was like, oh, we go through and we just would go through like all 12 houses in their chart, all the signs, how the planets are working. And what it tapped into is like, oh my God, they're just they're doing the thing they came to me for, right? Like launching the business, figuring out the new offering, changing their life, whatever. But they are like breaking through with like Hulk fists, like karmic patterns. They're busting out, they're calling in like deep soul love. Like I had been by accident, like made so many people fall in love and get married. And that's not my work. I'm like, I don't understand how that works. Like, but like just everything, alignment, money, baby shoppers, just happy, radiating. I have literally run into like my clients on the street or in weird events and stuff. And I will be like, oh my God, like you are the most radiant person in this place. Humble brag on myself, but because like, but like the radiant energy from watching someone live in this place. And I started calling it the cosmic zone. And my clients started being like, oh my God, the craziest things are happening. And I'm like, is it crazy? Is it though? They're like the synchronicities, the symbols, and this feeling of, again, just being like so comfortable with yourself, such in deep trust, such in co-creation, right? Being like that co-author, co-artist, co-architect of your life with the universe. And I'm not saying it's all, listen, I've had a lot of tears, a lot of breakdowns, a lot of messy moments, a lot of like, totally what is going on? Like, this is right. It's like my story. It's not all like a linear up and up journey. Totally. But so I started calling it like, I'm like, you're in the cosmic zone, maybe like this is what happens when we're in the cosmic zone. But I always have to tell people like the hard part is you do have to leave the comfort zone. Like, and the comfort zone is where all of everything we've been talking about, the masks, the comfort and things that are fine. Like some of that stuff, I'm like, I had to put on some of those masks to survive, to get by, to just be like, don't perceive me in this. I don't know what this means. Or like I said, I had to close my energy off because I didn't know how to work with it, right? Like each and every one of our superpowers can be our biggest self-sabotage or our things that bring us our self-spiraling if we don't understand, right? Like how to work with it. So I realized that I'm like, okay, like this is pretty cool, this cosmic zone place. And, it really is about, again, one of my big ethos is like, you don't have to go to a mountaintop. I mean, if you can go to a mountaintop in Peru or go to Joshua Tree or go to a spiritual vortex place, great. I love that for you. But the cosmic zone is like right here where you're at, like, in your minivan covered with like goldfish while your toddlers are screaming, or while you're in like your corner office somewhere in a big city, or while you're just sitting like at night by yourself wondering like, what am I doing in this life? Like your cosmic zone is right there. It's within you. And it's a frequency you hit. It's like you tap into something. It's like you stop performing, you stop people pleasing, you stop pretending, and you connect with like the three things that I think it's built upon, which is understanding your authentic self, learning how to live in alignment, which is basically just a fancy way of saying like trust. Like if something's not working, we ain't forcing it. We're being like, thank you thing for not working out. My guides are sending me a sign. I have made huge life decisions. Like my husband, a house is bought sight unseen because I'm like, bloop, a card note appeared. I had a dream, numerology. I'm like, sorry, I have to quit this business now because a dragon.
Yeah.
It's I'll tell you later. It's just a thing. Like it's like living in such 100%. Deep alignment, right? That you're so unfuckable because you're living in so much faith that you're like, yes. I'm too aligned to settle and I'm too aligned to fail. So like whatever. And it's like again, people outside looking in are like, that girl is unwell. But then I'm like on the other side,
she gets her messages from the birds.
The birds are advising her. We don't know. But then on the other side, and that's the kind of thing, like, don't talk about it, be about it. I'm like, I'll see you on the other side. Like, I know where I'm going, and it's okay if you don't understand it. And I understand that, but like, trust me. And everyone in my life, I've had such a moment over the past few years, people are like, I get it now. Like, I get it. Like, and then the third thing is embodiment, right? Like, we live in such a place that like, we're in the head, we're thinking about things, we're talking about things, whether it's spiritual practices, whether it's astrology, you're talking about the memes and the like, or like just in the head about stuff. And sometimes it's just like, nope, we got to like walk the walk, right? We got to walk the talk. We got to like get out there. We got to do it. We got to feel whatever we're calling in so much from the inside out. It's like we are radiating that thing. Those things have no choice but just come find us because like we are it, and we're so comfortable and we're in such a place of belonging anywhere and everywhere we go that there's nothing to prove but everything to experience, everything to enjoy. And it just like, when I watch people get into that place, I was like, oh, hell yeah. But then I was like, okay, this is my thing. My Chiron's in Gemini. We'll talk about that later. But I was like, how do I put this into words that the humans can understand? Like,
100%. Wow. I mean, what was that writing process like for you? Like, because it's very, very obvious to me as a channel that you are a channel. Like, there's such, the way that you speak is addicting to me because I know it's coming from somewhere divine. I'm like, oh, this is the nectar of the gods, like coming out of your mouth, you know, like it's so delicious. And I wonder, like, because honestly, this is a question that I personally should probably be asking you right now, is like, how did you channel all of that so with such direction? Like, how do you direct all of that information?
Okay. So thank you. Nectar. I love you. I love everything that you're speaking. I could just eat everything you're saying.
We could do this all day long.
Mutual Appreciation Society continues. So I guess like I'll tell you what it doesn't feel like, and then I'll explain to you what it does. So like when I was first starting, I mean, I've been doing like this more of like this work. As my husband, you know, my life wizard would call it back in the day, my cosmic side hustle. I was like flipping cards, reading charts since about like 2016. Then I took it more full time. And I was like, it took me a while to find like my footing because I was like, oh, everyone had like a blog or showed up on Instagram at the time. I'm not like, I don't know how to put things into words on like black and white. It feels very small to me. I have a very complex relationship with words. I'm like what you said before, like accessible, inclusive things that I'm like, or like even words. I'm like, I don't like the energy of that word on a paper. But like
100%.
And you know,
very picky about
words.
Like
you're like, so I'm like, I don't know how to put something in a blog. Like what? That's not me. And then someone approached me to write a book. Really cool. I've always wanted to write a book. My mom was a writer. My like grandfather figure was like a very acclaimed, like beautiful writer, journalist, like, you know, civil rights activist, like through his journalism. I was like, oh my, I would love to write a book, but I also like struggle so much with this concept of words, and putting my, like all this knowing that I feel with my Pisces moon, like all this feeling, like how do I put this into words that make sense and convey what I'm trying to express? And someone approached me and I was like, great. And I went to Virgo, people pleasing. This is a few years ago, right? This is like, I've been doing my work for a minute. But I go into that mode, right? And they're like, write a book proposal. So I'm like, da-da-da-da-da. Here, I had no idea what a book proposal even meant or what it was. And this is 2020. I'm running like 5 different online courses, an online community. I decided to get impromptu married to my now husband. We're planning a wedding in 3 weeks. We just adopted a puppy. And I'm like, I'm just going to turn out a book proposal. So it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I'm like huddled under a blanket, just like stressed, like writing. And this literary agent, like she was such a mirror for me, such a teacher. She was so like, she was very like Greenwich, Connecticut, if anyone knows what that means. She had a pop collar and she would just be like, okay, I read your book proposal. It's not good. I'd be like, oh shit. She's like, yeah. Why do you think people like you? Why do you think you should write a book? I'm like, I don't know. You approached me. Like, what is this? And I'm like, well, I guess I think I'm like kind of relatable or like real or like maybe I'm funny. Oh my God. She goes, your writing is not funny. I go, I don't feel any of that in your writing. I go, okay. And I was like, so I go back to the drawing board and then it just hits me like a ton of bricks. My guides, everything was like, pull the plug. And the thing that came through, like a voice in my head so clear, it was like, Maddie, you more than anyone know, the energy in which you create something is way more important than the actual thing. Like you're going to write a book, stressed out, 2 a.m, bleary eyed, like I'm writing like it's a research paper in high school, like so dry, so boring. It's like, and then someone should look into their shadow. The shadow, Carl Jung describes the shadow. And I'm like, this isn't like you, like what? And I did. And I was like, no. I was like, this is not it, right? So I go back and it's been really hard for me because this was like, I was so excited. I was so excited to tell my friends, my family, like, oh my God, a literary agent. I was just like, listen, I think I have to just decline this whole offer because it just feels like not aligned. That was hard for me. That was really hard. I was like, it's one thing to get rejected. That's hard enough. But it's hard enough to be the one to be like, because then I'm like, that was it. I blew my shot. And then, wow. As one does, I go to like a medium circle that I work with in the city, and they were playing this medium game with we do play with their intuition. And there's like this like stool in the middle of the room, and it's like, I'm like, should I write that book? And the stool's like not moving, and I'm like, okay, fine, like. And then I asked, I was like, should I start a podcast? And the stool flies across the room. And I was like, okay. And everyone in the room's like, and this is like my weird, like New York City, like super fringe. Like they're all like in their 50s and 60s and 70s, like witchy New York. They're like, and we're like in some like midtown, like grimy, like office space. They're like, oh yeah. They're like, she got to start a podcast, whatever that means. Like, yes, like do that. And so... And I realized from there, it was the feeling of like, what I tell people, like, I was like, my mind is like, I want to write a book where people pick up and have that like transformation just by transmission of like, even if my words aren't perfect, even if I have typos, even if I don't express all the millions and trillions of things I want to tell people, that they could pick up the book and just feel whatever their higher self, whatever their soul is ready to feel can be in that, right? And they can also, I want to be the person that I say I am in this book, right? Like flow and playfulness and alignment and trust. So I walked away, I did the podcast, and the podcast opened everything for me because I'm a much more of a yapper. Like I'm a external processor. I have that like oracular, like oracle through talking, like channeling. I'm like, yes. And so through the podcast, I found my voice. I found my authentic self. I didn't feel like I was like performing in quite the way I did there. So then that brings me to the actual book. I was like, the book will flow out of me when it's ready. And then, sure enough, after working with mentees a bunch, I was like, oh, I'm kind of just saying the same thing over and over again. Like, I'm just like, you kind of realize that thing. You're like you said, like, I'm just kind of, okay, there is sort of everyone's so individual, but there are certain truths that I'm coming back to and certain things that I've seen work in my life. And that's cool. But now I've seen it work in like dozens, like hundreds of like individual people from all different.
You did field research. You did your field research.
Like came with the receipts. I'm like, I'm not making this up. Like this is something, like the work works. And I just was on like a walk and it just started like flowing out of me. Like, okay, key 1, key 2, key 3. And I just did all the things that like, I literally had to walk myself through the cosmic zone journey though. Because I had all of every block I talk about in the book, every doubt, everything that gets in the way, I experienced in writing the book, in shopping it around, and in promoting it. And that's when I was like, damn, this work does work. Because I'm here like taking my own advice from the book.
Yes. Oh my God. I want you to know, God is a woman. Her name's Madi Murphy. Done. like. I can't even tell you what a transmission that was for me specifically, which means it was for the field. It was for those who are in this field. Like I won't do it now because I have one more question I want to ask you, and we're basically out of time, but I have a story about getting myself to the edge of a book deal and going, I don't want to write a fucking book. And going, I'm gone. Like, I know, like this
it feels crazy. It feels crazy to turn it down. And you're like, this is what I should want, but it's not about that, right?
And it wasn't, and my book's not ready quite yet. And I'm about to enter my field research phase. So I'm like, oh my God. So like hearing this, like I have the philosophy, I have everything, but I'm like, I need to live it a little bit more. I gotta live it a little bit more.
Yeah,
so the answer you just gave was for me down to my toes.
Chills,
and it was for anyone else who's walking that path and that journey. Which leads me to my last question, because I feel like it is when I work primarily with women. I have lots of clients and listeners that are men, and this applies to any parent, I would say, any engaged parent, I would say. But I really enjoy your content and I myself am not a parent, I think, which is worth mentioning. But I love the content you create about being a mother, because just like everything you do it with the deepest levels of honesty. I watched quite a long video of yours the other day, might have been today or yesterday, that had nothing to do with me at all, where you were like, here's the things that I've learned with 2 under 2. And I was like, I was eating that shit up. And I'm like, I have no use for this information.
I love watching stuff that's like,
yes. I was like, what is that like? Tell me a little bit about it. And you are so honest. You're like, here's the thing I do, here's the thing I don't do, here's the thing. And like, it's just beautiful. Like the way you deliver messages, the way, like the work you put into the world, you know, you're so thorough in all that you do, energetically thorough in all that you do. So I can only imagine that the same is true for motherhood. And I think there are a lot of listeners who don't know that they can do that. So can you tell us a little bit about, with the acknowledgement that you're not perfect and you don't need to be perfect to be worthy of being emulated? You know, like you don't have to be perfect to be an authority. And I recognize that, you know, but like, tell me how you hold the cosmic zone and the work that you do, and, you know, Cosmic RX, and being a wife and being a friend, an active participant in your community, and an attentive, loving parent. Like, how do you hold those things together?
Well, first of all, just such a celebration of all that. Like, I just am so like, wow, pinch me to be here in this moment again. That younger self just like curled up under her IKEA duvet. Just like, what am I doing? Yeah. I'm like, girl, you got this. And I really have to say, it's like, everything you said before about the numerology and the attitude, like how you do one thing is how you do all things. Yeah. Right. So that's what I love about this work. If you're in it and you're open and you're, again, in that place of authenticity, if you're in that place of trust and alignment, you're in that place of embodiment, it's going to like radiate into everything you do. And I have never had more on my plate than I have right now, but I have never felt like so much joy, so much freedom, so much like, it's like my life force is, so I can hold all of this because I have done this work to have the capacity to, and granted, there's days I lose my effing shit. Like, I'm not like above that, but even in that, I'm like, I am so lucky. I'm so grateful to be exhausted by a life of my own design, of my own choosing, like everything from my marriage to like the way I mother, to the way I run my business. It's like so mine. That it's like, hell yeah. And I just want to, for anyone listening, I had a lot of qualms about becoming a mother because I did not resonate with like a lot of what we see out there, what we're sold as a mother, whether that's like, whatever that felt like to me. It felt suffocating. It felt lonely. It felt cheesy. There's so many things. I had so many hangups, but I love love. I love my family. I'm a Cancer rising, and that's you. I have like, my son is in the 4th house of family. I am like, I love that. What? But I was like, I don't want to be in all that. And I was like, okay, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to. Again, it's not easy to choose the unconventional route, but there is an ease. So I just invite people, like, get to know yourself. And that's what I love about astrology. There's so many things. And when I set out to write the book, like you said, like what I had a lot of almost like insecurity at first, because like I'm not going to write the book that's like, you're a Venus in Virgo, this means this about you. that I think people might expect when they hear an astrology book. I was like, I want this to be like permission slip, pep talk in your pocket with some practical magic and understanding that you have everything you need within you. You have all 12 signs of the zodiac. You, I, me, Brad Pitt, Fran Drescher, J-Lo, I don't know the people, Barack Obama, who's coming to my mind. We all have the same 12 signs in the zodiac, right? So we're so wholly united in that. And there's nothing that like you have more of, that I have more, better, worse. But then we also have like the recipe in which we're made, it is different. It makes us so wholly unique. So like no one's path is going to be your path. So you have to like know yourself so you could trust yourself. And that's why I wanted to write an astrology book that didn't seek and set out to define you, but instead to align you. Like, oh, that is me. What if I just dropped into that a little bit more and trusted that? And like, what can that open up for me? And when I tell you, like, I never knew motherhood could feel this sexy, this empowering, this juicy, this fun. It's like messy and it's like full, but it's in a way that like I love. And I have felt way more stressed out, way more depleted from doing 1/8 of this stuff that I'm doing now when it just wasn't in alignment. So like, that's the first thing I said, to trust people, right? Like if something's draining you and depleting you, it's like, it's probably not for you. And I will guarantee you there's a better something, path of potentiality waiting for you.
Holy shit. I feel like I have just been on a spiritual like sojourn. Like that was unreal. Every minute of this has been insane. I feel very intentional in the guests that we select and the people that we bring on the show and the connections that are made here. And sometimes I gotta say, some just really hit you right in the sweet spot. And that's exactly what this was today. So I just want to thank you so much for your time, your energy, for the ability that you've cultivated to be a channel. Like all that you do, all the ways in which you exist in service are such profound, generous gifts. And I'm so grateful to hold a microphone to your wisdom and just be one more channel through which your truth can flow. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Zoe. I just want to thank you for not just having me on, but for being you and for being like the same, just that mirror of like standing so fully in your truth. Because I know it's not easy. Again, it's like, so it is easier just to go in like some kind of cookie cutter path of like hiding and faking and sometimes just, but to be really in integrity, like you mentioned that word before, I feel that in you, and you're so embodied in it. And you're such an example and an expander for people to see like, this is what it really looks and feels like. It's not just something made up. So thank you for being you.
Okay, I'm crying. Thank you so much for that. Oh. Well, there you have it, blessed babes. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. And I would love if we could take a moment to send this week's subject, Madi Murphy, some love, sweetness, and positivity as she continues to explore the cosmic zone and show us new ways to know and love ourselves. If you are interested in being on the show, you know what to do. Email podcast@zoegreco.com. Connect with me on all socials @thezoegreco. And of course, I want to conclude by reminding you that you are important. You matter and you are perfect exactly as you are. I love you. Your spirit guides love you. Madi Murphy loves you and the universe loves you. So until next time, keep answering the call of your higher self. Bye, friends.